as you can see, I have my husband, Matt, with me again. We're going to answer some questions. I really enjoyed doing the random questions last week or the week before last. And so I wanted to do it again. But this time I'm going to do it with him. So,
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is specifically for you. What is the best / worst part of being the oldest sibling? Because I'm a middle child, so I don't really know.
I don't know. The best part for me is they come to me. They ask me for advice.
Yeah.
They trust me to give them advice. That's probably the best part.
Yeah.
Because they trust me enough to ask me what my opinion is of something or what I think about something. That's probably the best part. The worst part, and maybe this is also the worst part maybe for like a parent, but the worst part for me is letting them make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you know it's a mistake, like letting them do it so they can learn from it. I hate that part. I absolutely hate that part. I hate it. I can't give a specific example. Just making mistakes and allowing the mistakes to happen.
Yeah.
And watching it is the worst part.
Yeah.
I hate it. I absolutely hate seeing them
Well, for you,
fail.
for you too, like you're a lot older than them, so it was you were more kind of raising them than you were like being like a full-on
sibling. Yeah, I'm 7 years older than my sister, and 8.5, 9-ish years older than my brother. Mm-hmm. So I was, in my teens long before they were, and then I got in my 20s and they were in their teens. I'm like, oh, don't do that. Don't hang out with that person. Don't do this. Don't do that. But you have to let them make mistakes. That's the worst part for me.
Well, I'd say, from my part, being a middle child, I saw this TikTok not too long ago where I guess the parent was giving their kids shoes, and like it showed the oldest sibling, they got this brand new nice pair of shoes, and then the younger sibling got this very nice new pair of shoes, and then they showed them dropping off the middle child's shoes, and they were like hand-me-downs, and I was like, I never really experienced that, I was like, I don't understand that. But then I thought about it. I was like, no, wait, I have. Because I remember back in, like, early 2000s, my brother and my sister, brother being the oldest, sister being the youngest, they got these new Nokia phones. And then I got my mother's hand-me-down phone. And I was like, holy crap, maybe that's true. But I'd say the greatest thing I think about being the middle sibling for me was that I kind of bridged the gap between them, so I could hang out with my sister's friends and her, or I could hang out with my brother and his friends, and I just related to both of them because I was in the middle. They, they love each other and everything. They have a friendship, but they're not really like, not like I was with either one of them. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a nice thing.
And y'all were close in age, too.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher was born
83.
You were 85. And
sister's 87.
Yeah. So 83, 85, 87. They were very, very close in age.
The thing that's weird about that, too, is, though, me and my sister were just a grade apart. When I was in 10th, she was in 9th. But my brother, he was 2 grades, which is weird. When I was in 9th, he was in 12th. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of weird. But I think it's just because the months. He was born in July of 83. I was December of 85.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask, when you said that question yesterday, I was like, oh, I should ask him, did you as a middle child ever feel like you were forgotten or overlooked or anything like that? Like how now most people say, the middle child is the forgotten one.
No, I never felt that. I think that's just more of a joke. Like, but I don't know, there might be some truth, because when I realized that I got the hand-me-down phone, they got brand new ones, I was like, what the crap is this? Because I didn't they got the Nokias where you could change the face plates. I don't know if you
love those.
Those older ones, went flips. I got the phone, it was big, it had the little just the mouthpiece that flipped down and the antenna that pulled up. So I got this, like, it was awful. I asked my mom, I said, why didn't I get a new one? She's like, well, I thought you'd use my old one. I was like, anyway. anyways. Your turn.
That's funny though. Oh man. Okay. I'm pretty sure that we talked about this on our first date. But what's another career you think that you'd like to have?
God.
And I remember your answer.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same answer, but I would love to be a music journalist, like working for Rolling Stone, or maybe a lesser known, because Rolling Stone is just it. No, it's more about mainstream and politics and stuff. I want to discover new bands, talk to bands that are less well known, just because I love that stuff. Like mainstream now is just it's money making. It's not about really good music. So I would love to be a music journalist. Just talking to bands, going to shows. It'd be amazing.
That's exactly what you said on our first
really?
date. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's what I'd be. Because I've always loved music, and I never really learned an instrument. I had drums at one time, but I didn't really pursue it, and so I just know that anything to do with music, especially just talking to people, it'd be great.
I like that answer.
Yeah. What about you?
An actress. It's always going to be an actress, just because I don't know. One, I like to be in front of the camera.
Obviously.
I like attention. No, I really do. I would love to just do something, whether, it's a TV show or movie or short or anything.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. What about voiceover acting?
I don't know if I have the voice for voiceover acting. I don't think I have a voice for that.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? You have a voice, so you can do it.
No, I know that. I'm talking about, I can't do different accents. I don't know. I don't think my voice, my natural voice, is a voice that is for voiceover work.
It depends on whatever you were doing. Like if you were doing a Pixar and you were a human character, you could do it.
True.
So.
Yeah.
If you could live in any fictional world, book, movie, whatever, where would you live?
You go first. Because I'm going to have to think about this.
That's a hard
book,
one for me too.
movie.
I've never really thought about it. I read the question. I didn't even think about where I would live.
It's your question.
I know, right?
There's so many. There's so many that pop into my head.
There's so many, but I think truthfully, it'd have to be like the Wizarding World.
Harry Potter.
Not in the regular human world, because that's just boring. But where because every time I watched those movies, whenever they were there, it was just magical.
Yeah, Hogwarts. Yeah.
Hogwarts, or at the Weasley's house, or at the
Hogsmeade.
No, the hidden headquarters of that one group where the apartment building split open, and that was where
the order.
Yeah, Order of the Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix.
Oh man, just any of those, and the bus that he gets on the Prisoner of Azkaban, just that magical world. I just, I would love to live there, just because I think of other things, but some of the other things that I think about, there's so many dangers and things that could go on that I just don't want to. For instance, if I were to say a game called Assassin's Creed, if I lived in that world, but then there's a lot of junk going on in there that I wouldn't want to deal with. And so the Wizarding World for me is they took care of, of Voldemort, so we're good,
Yeah, he's fine. So everything's fine now. I mean, honestly, that was probably going to be my answer because I'm so obsessed with it right now. But, any of the Disney worlds, and I'm talking Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, those type of things.
Yeah.
Aladdin, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Agrabah, that would be wonderful.
If I were to pick a Disney one, which would I be? It'd be Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Oh, why did I say Peter Pan?
But then that'd probably freak me out because we'd be talking animals everywhere, so I don't know.
What book or movie do you wish that you could experience for the first time again?
Where the Crawdads Sing.
Dang it, that's my answer!
Hands down. That or two other books. Where the Crawdads Sing was an amazing book. If you haven't read it, read it. No lie. Great book.
Hands down.
Lacey recommended me, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, that seems more like a you book, and I read it, and I couldn't believe how good it was. That one, or The Shining or It by Stephen King. Both of those books. Great books. And I wish I could experience those for the first time, too.
Okay, well, you took my book, and that's exactly, and I knew it. I was in the shower today, and I was thinking about this book,
Did
and
you think
yes, and I was like, I know what I'm gonna say, and I know he's gonna say it too, because we were both, because I didn't tell him anything about the book, and I was like, just read it. All I need you to do is read it, because I read it, and I was like, it was
Yeah, I told...
top 5 books for me of all time.
Yeah, no lie, yes. I told a few people at work, and this one girl that read it, she came back to me and says, oh my goodness, she said that book was amazing. It was like, I told you. Because I didn't tell her anything about it too. I knew that she read a lot of books, so I told her, you got to read this. And she loved it too. It's just a great book. And
there's a movie coming out where the Crawdads Sing that Reese Witherspoon helped do. That I'm actually really excited to see it, because Delia Owens, which is I think that's how you say it, is the author. And she was on set for the whole thing, and she helped do all of... I think she's an executive producer or producer, something like that. But I'm excited to see the movie. So all we need to know is, like, Delia, if you were to see this video, if you ever do, write another book. Please write another book. Like, yes, I'm glad that you have your nature books and things that you like to do. It's fantastic. That's great. Cool. But write another story. Please write another. Please write another novel. Okay.
Oh, fictional worlds. Where the Crawdads Sing. That'd be another one I'd stay in. Yeah, I'd love that.
On the marsh. Yeah. I'd love a house on the marsh.
North Carolina. Yes. Yeah. Beautiful.
So, since we both said that one, I'm also going to say The Giver of Stars, and I can't remember who, Jojo Moyes. That book was another one that I didn't want to stop listening, because I listened to it and I read it, because I bought the book and then I also listened to the audio. So I started out reading it, and it's just so much easier for me to listen to audiobooks while I'm at work, because I sit at a desk all day. I'm a paralegal. That's what I do. So I would listen to the audiobook, and that's just another one I didn't want to stop. I would leave work. I would get in my car, because I have the app for our library. And so I get in my car and immediately turn on the book again, so I could listen to it all the way home. So that's another one, The Giver of Stars. It was great. It's slow in the beginning. That book will make you angry. It will make you cry. It will make you happy. You will finish that book, and you're going to be like, heh. And it's also based on a true story of women who would ride on horseback to deliver books to families and children in their town from the library. So, It's a great one.
Speaking of a book, Phil, you can't put down, like, if you haven't read any Stephen King, if you just read one of his, read The Shining, because I read that book years ago, but I remember I went on a family vacation, and at the time I wasn't really a big reader. I just started reading that book, and we were in the hotel room, and I left the light on because I was still reading. My dad had to wake up and tell me to turn the light off because I couldn't stop reading that book. So that's a book that's hard to put down when you start reading.
I promise I'll read it.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we made a little a promise to each other. I said, I said, you choose a book for me to read, and I'll choose a book for you to read. So hers was Where the Crawdads Sing. So guess what? I read it. And then I bought her a copy of The Shining because we didn't have one, and she still hasn't read it.
That's my goal this year. It's on the list. I'm sorry.
It should be on the top of the list, because I already finished your book months ago.
It's not on the top, but I promise that I will read it by the end of this year. By December 31st. By December 31st, I will read that book.
Okay. If you could know the absolute truth to one question, what question would you ask? Any question. A question to God, a question to any person, living, dead. I'll tell you one of mine. Like, there's a lot of questions, but I think one of mine would be, like, if I could go back and talk to Jack the Ripper, I'd ask him why. Like, why did you kill those women? Like, what for? Like, I mean, I feel like that would be for a lot of killers. Maybe even the Zodiac Killer, I'd ask the same question. But I think the reason I ask those to them is because we don't know who they were. We have no idea who they were. So.
Well, mine's kind of along those lines. Not really, but kind of. I love true crime. We love true crime. But I listen to a lot of things. And I know my opinion. I actually said this yesterday to you. But I know my opinion of this case. I know the things that I have researched and found out on my own. And then gathered my own conclusion. But I would ask John Benet Ramsey who killed her. That's what I want to know. I want to know without a doubt. That's what I would want to know. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, who did it?
Yeah.
Who did it? I know my opinion. I know my conclusion that I've come to. But I would want to know who killed her. Here's one. This is from Jamie. And I thought it was kind of funny. And I've been thinking about this ever since she asked it. And I still don't have an answer for myself. If coffee was illegal, what would its street name be?
Bean.
He said that,
bean.
Immediately.
Bean or beans?
Last night.
Blood beans. Yeah, let me get some beans.
Let me get some beans.
Coffee comes from beans. They probably deal it in beans. It probably wouldn't be crushed up. They'd probably be dealt in beans.
See?
I
didn't think like that.
You're
I was thinking ground up.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, but probably sounded up ground or.
Give me the grounds. I don't know. That sounds stupid once I say it out loud.
Beans. Let me get some beans.
Let me get some beans. All right, Jamie, there's your answer. It would be beans. What is one of your favorite memories of us, and it cannot be our wedding?
Favorite memories of us? I'd say just our whole Gatlinburg trip, our honeymoon.
Our honeymoon? Yeah.
Because I loved it. Everything we did together was fun. It's the Titanic Museum was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Hatfield McCoy.
Yeah, what was that one place, the Upside Down building?
Oh, was it Wonderworks?
Wonderworks, that was a lot of fun. Just everything, Hatfield McCoy's, everything. It was just a lot. Except for the sky lift, because we were both terrified.
Yeah, I was terrified. Oh, I was freaking out.
Yeah, she was freaking out on the outside. I was freaking out on the inside. I was like, I got to keep calm, at least for her, I was like, but on the inside, I was like, oh my God, we're going to die. But,
I was having a panic attack. I was like, I don't know.
But it just, when I was a kid, I was fine, but I think it's because I was with my dad, and when you're a kid and when you were parents, you're like, oh, if they're saying it's fine, everything's cool and good, but when you're older, you realize the dangers of the world, and the things can happen. Yeah. So heights are just bad for me, so, that was not a fun part, but everything else was amazing.
I'm torn between two. Either our first date, even though I thought you had a bad time.
Yeah.
Or...
It's because I had gout. That's why she thought I had a bad time. She didn't know about it, so...
Yeah. Because on our first date, we went to dinner, and then we went to Frankie's Fun Park, which is kind of like an arcade.
Went putt-putting. Yeah,
outdoor putt-putt, go-kart, stuff like that. And we did... we went to dinner, and then we went to play putt-putt. And I did have a good time, but I noticed, he was really quiet while we were playing putt-putt. We talked, he was just kind of quiet. And so when I got home, I texted him when I got home just to let him know that I got home. And I said, if you never want to see me again, it's okay. And that's when he told me, no, I had a great time. And this is why, because he had a gout attack, basically, and he wasn't feeling great.
What's the other memory you're torn between?
Me telling you that I was pregnant the first time.
Yeah.
I love that moment for us, just to actually be able to do it, and the way I did it.
Yeah.
And it was just very sweet. It was a very sweet moment. Biggest pet peeves. We're going to be sitting here all night for mine.
Biggest pet peeves. Oh. Well, of course, driving. No turn signal. That's just ridiculous. You just got to flip switch up or down. That's all you got to do. Flip it, and just, it's not hard. So that, I think one now that I never really had before is the way she responds to me sometimes. Because their family shouts at each other, but it's not being mean to each other.
It's just how we talk.
But my family never did that. You don't shout at each other. When you shout at each other, you're mad at each other. But in this family, obviously, you're not. So when she'll like say stuff to me, I have to tell her to watch it, like, because I have no idea if she's mad or not. So that's bad.
Okay, thanks, babe.
I'm just saying. You asked the question.
Did
I'm
I ask
telling
the question?
you the
I asked
answer.
the question. Okay, that's a pet peeve towards me. What about, like, just in general, other than the driving thing?
You answer when yours, and I'll try to think about it.
I have a list. So, I don't like mouth sounds. I don't like to hear people smacking, like, when they eat. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but I did it. Anything to do with the mouth, I can't. I don't want to hear it. That was a yawn, so you're okay. I don't like it when people are rude to waiters and waitresses.
That is, yeah.
For absolutely no reason.
Yeah, that's one of mine too. I didn't think about that.
That bothers me so bad.
Yeah, like they don't control when your food's made. They don't control any of that stuff. Like they just take your order and put it in. That's all they do. Mm-hmm. And then you're just mean to them for things like that. They cooked it. No, they didn't cook it.
This is from your friend Michelle that you used to work with. Mm-hmm. What does grace mean to you?
To me, it means that we mess up all the time. Sin here, sin there. Always try to do good, then we'll sin again. And I'm sure everybody out there knows that with certain people, with anybody really, there's a limit. There's a limit where they're just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done, With God and Jesus, there's no limit. It doesn't matter how many times you still gonna, He's still gonna give you a chance. That's grace to me. Like, if we didn't have that grace, He would have a limit, and it'd be a time He's like, no, that's it, I'm done with you. I can't do this anymore. That's what it means to me.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. And it's because we're human, it's different. It's difficult for us to, sometimes it's difficult for us to extend grace to others, especially people that continue to hurt you or hurt people that you love over and over and over again. Or not even that, just not even hurt someone, but just their behavior, the choices that they make in life. It's difficult to extend grace to them. But yeah, with Jesus, there is no limit. With God, there is no limit. It doesn't matter how far you've gotten from God, if you've ever known God, or how far you are in general, if you've never known Him. You can always call on Him, call on God, and He'll be there. Mm-hmm. Period. He may not answer you in a way that you want to be answered, in the time that you want it to be answered, or how you want it to be answered, but He will answer you.
And it's not always, like some people are there, they think, that they'll hear a voice. It's not a voice. I'm sorry. Just like that right there to me is a miracle. If you hear God's, because there are people out there who've heard God speak. Mm-hmm. Like whatever it is, people have heard it. But that's not the case most times. Mm-mm. It's going to be maybe from somebody else talking to you, or maybe something you read a little bit later on, something that pertains to your life. You're like, oh my goodness, like that was like a sign from God,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been multiple times where I've been struggling with something, or we've been struggling with something, and I'll hear a song on the radio, or I'll read something in Bible study, or talk about it in small group even, and I'm like, whoa, okay, well that's exactly, what I've been thinking lately, or what I've had a problem with. And so, yeah, grace from God is infinite. Grace from other people, not so much.
Yeah. So. I think that's a good one to end on, babe.
You want to end?
Yeah, we've done a lot. We can do if you want to do, if anybody wants part 2, we can do a part 2. Yeah.
Stick around for part 2. I'm just kidding.
50,000 likes. We'll get a part 2 going.
I love you. You're so stupid. Okay, well, apparently, he's ready for bed, so Because it is 10 o'clock, so on a Saturday.
So hit that bell. Hit a
Oh,
thumbs
yeah.
up
Oh, hit the subscribe button and hit that like button
down below.
down below and comment with your questions if you have any more. But yeah, this was fun, baby.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I don't think that we were as funny as I was alone, but
Yeah, whatever.